Hey guys, first Regardsman here, and today we'll be talking about the best Bulwark Power Fist build for patch 9.0 Space Marine 2 for both Operations and Siege mode. Now, just like all the other melee weapons in patch 9.0, the Power Fist did receive some buffs, and this thing was already the best melee weapon in the game, and now it is even better, and today I will be using the balanced version, because this one has an amazing strength value of 15, 7 plus speed, and an epic cleaving potential of 12 plus. Now, speed doesn't matter too much on this weapon, because it does not affect the actual charge up time of your charge attacks, but it's still nice to have sometimes. And for the perk tree here, I do pick up the perk Perpetual Strength, and I move over into the perk here, Heavy Preparation. Heavy attack preparation time is reduced by 30%, applies to the following attacks: Thrust Jab, Back Fist, Hammer Hook, Back Fist 2, and Thrust Jab 2. Now, charge attacks are basically all that matters on the Power Fist, so this is an S tier perk, pretty much always take this. Then we go over here and grab the 10% damage buff from these perks, and then I move over into the perk Focused Intention. When your health is below 30%, you take 50% less health damage while preparing heavy attacks. Now, when we stack this perk with all of our other damage reduction like Conviction, Scramble Targeting, and Steel Within, you are stupidly tanky. This is part of the reason that the Power Fist is so damn good, because you're just like ridiculously tanky while you're charging up your attacks. And even when you do them with things like the Strength of Will perk, which is while performing a heavy attack, you take 20% less range damage, and range damage reduction like this also affects armor, so even better. And really, the Power Fist is just stacked with damage reduction on top of damage, so S tier pick pretty much always. Now up here we have Tide of Battle. Power wave forward distance increases from 4 to 8 meters. This one actually increases your power wave distance from 10 to 20 meters, so kind of a misnomer here, but that's just how it is. Next perk is Following Blow. Back Fist and Back Fist 2 can be performed instantly after a charge, Thrust Jab, or Hammer Hook. This can actually help you catch out guys that you could otherwise not get into execute, so pretty useful. Next perk here is Combo, and then we move over into Majora's Slayer for that extra 10% Majora's damage, which can help us hit some breakpoints, so pretty useful here as well. Now for the secondary weapon selection, I do once again take the Plasma Pistol. This thing did get buffed on its rate of fire variant in patch 9.0. It is kind of insanely fast charging now. It gives you back a ton of CHP, really good for staggering enemies, and also the gun strikes on the Plasma Pistol in base have an AoE effect, and it's just a very strong option in general. This is probably like the best overall secondary in the game currently, even over the Heavy Bolt Pistol, because rate of fire really is that good. The only thing holding back this variant of the gun is the ammo economy, but on Bulwark that does not matter as much, because you do have the perk here, Auxiliary Reload. Melee kills of Extremis level or higher enemies restore your secondary weapon's ammo by 1 magazine. This is some of the only secondary ammo regen in the entire game outside of like an Inferno pistol, so super strong option for the Bulwark, and makes the rate of fire Plasma Pistol that much better. Now for the perk tree selection, I do just pick up all ammo economy and perpetual velocity for that extra charge rate, and I also pick up the extra 10% damage down here for Divine Might. Now if you want to use a Neo Volkite or Heavy Bolt Pistol, or for whatever reason the Bolt Pistol, you can, but for the Heavy Bolt Pistol I'd probably build it down the top tree, because you don't really get as much effect out of things like able damage, because you're not using your class ability as much. And for the Neo Volkite, you can really go top or bottom, that is up to you. I've tried both, they both work pretty well, but usually I just pick the ammo version or the firepower if I really want like a little bit of extra boss damage. That's up to you as well, but overall, Plasma Pistol probably the best option period currently. Now for the Bulwark perk tree selection, I do pick up the perk Conviction first. When your armor is fully depleted, you take 25% less health damage for 10 seconds. I really like building full tank Bulwark because you are just ridiculously tanky on this class if you pick up all of these perks. Now alternatively, you could pick up Intimidating Aura. A perfectly timed parry deals area of effect damage within a 5-meter radius. Cooldown is 5 seconds. This is a very good perk, but I actually prefer this on block weapons, because block weapons can kind of struggle to get like that last hit at times, especially with how slow the block Power Fist is. But for like everything else, I just kind of like the Conviction perk because it really is just that good. Next perk here is Scramble Targeting. If you're surrounded by 5 or more enemies, you take 25% less damage from range attacks. This is just a top tier damage reduction perk for range damage, very strong bonus here, and these other 2 perks aren't very good, so I pretty much always pick this one up. Next perk is Steel Within. When your health is less than 50%, you take 30% less health damage. This stacked with Conviction and stacked with things like focused intention on the Power Fist just makes you ridiculously tanky, super strong option. I honestly prefer this regardless of using a balanced fencing or block weapon. Now, armor reinforcement down here is also very strong, so you could take this if you want, but I just think Steel Within is like a ridiculous amount of value, so I pretty much always pick it up. Next perk here for the team perk selection is Focus Restoration. Every 30 seconds, all squad members automatically restore 1 armor segment. This perk gives you so much value for your entire team. Armor restores in this game that basically come out to free damage reduction, so super strong option. Now really all the team perks on Bulwark are good. Advanced conditioning is also very strong, can really help you get back CHP, and even effective formation is pretty damn good because 20% less health damage from Extremis and Terminus is not bad whatsoever because these are usually the enemies that'll be fucking you up anyways, so pretty strong option too, but it's really up to you which one you want to take. I just think Focus Restoration is the best one overall. Now for the gear perk tree, I always take Purity of Purpose. The banner deals damage over time to enemies within its area of effect. This perk is so valuable for wiping out minors, dealing significant damage to Majors, Extremis, and even Terminus. It is by far the best perk in this row, so pretty much always take this. These two perks really do need a buff if they ever want to compete with Purity of Purpose, because this one just makes your banner have way more value. Now for the next perk here, I just take Invigorating Icon. When the banner is activated, all squad members regain maximum contested health, but it recharges 50% slower. This perk is just god tier. Getting back HP on a banner is so damn strong. It can absolutely carry your runs. Now Glorious Shield is also very good, but this one is just better, so if you want like absolutely min-max, I would just take this. Next perk here is Merciless Resolve. After a Shield Bash or Thunder Hammer Pommel Smash, melee damage increases by 15%. You do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back for 10 seconds. Now, no knockback in this game is pretty much top tier wherever you can find it, which is why I pick up this perk and Armored Advance. And now also to trigger this perk, you do not need to do anything except do a Shield Bash. It doesn't actually have to hit anybody. And also the 15% melee damage increase can hit some breakpoints for your Balance Fist. So overall, top tier perk, pretty much always take this for operations. Now, if you are in Siege mode, Rejuvenating Effect, which is when the banner is activated, it revives incapacitated squad members within its area of effect. This one can be very, very powerful as well to like absolutely clutch and get your guys up, but I just think Merciless Resolve is better for like most scenarios. Now for the signature perk tree, I do just pick up Armored Advance. If you have armor remaining, you do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back. This is just another no knockback effect, and this is just a top tier perk in general, so stacking these two together, if you use them in conjunction, you'll pretty much never be out of no knockback effect, which is pretty top tier. Now for the prestige perk selection, I just pick up Auxiliary Reload for ammo economy, and then I move over here into Overcharge. Charge attack damage increases by 20%. This is a charge attack damage perk for a Power Fist build, so pretty much always take it. Next perk here is Powerful Shot. Range damage increases by 20% for extra range damage. And then I pick up the absolute god tier perk here, Masterful Defense. Ability charge is restored by 1% for every blocked range attack. If you're fighting Chaos especially, this can absolutely fill your banner back up to full easily on like a Soul Can Terminator, or even like Flamer Marines. Very, very strong perk, and like another reason the Bulwark Shield is just top tier in general, and the Thunder Hammer is kind of like falling behind, but Masterful Defense is just, it's that perk, so pretty much always take this. And that's pretty much all there is for the Bulwark build here. Now if you want to use the Block Fist, you certainly can. This one is very strong as well, and it's probably like a way better boss killer, but overall I think Balance is just safer to use and just a little bit more effective versus Hordes because of the cleaving potential, but like those are your two options. I wouldn't really use the fencing one because the cleaving potential is terrible and the damage isn't that epic compared to like these two, and honestly a Balance parry window isn't too bad if you want parries, so I'll just use this one. Hey guys, First Regardsman here, and today I'll be talking about a Thunder Hammer Bulwark build for patch 9.0 Space Marine 2. Now the Thunder Hammer, like all the other melee weapons in this game for patch 9.0, did get buffed, and today I will be using a block version because this one hits like an absolute truck with 16 plus strength, and despite only having 2 speed, the Thunder Hammer doesn't really care about speed all that much. It does matter a bit for like your ground slam and your light combos, but things like Aftershock and Pommel Smash are barely affected or not affected at all in the case of Aftershock when it comes to your speed stat, so it's still a very strong weapon, especially on the Bulwark class where we primarily use Pommel Smash anyways, and Aftershock to deal major damage, and our parry with things like Intimidating Aura is very, very powerful on top of that. So for the perk setup here, I just take the perk Perpetual Strength down here into Fast Preparation. Aftershock preparation time is reduced by 30%. Aftershock is one of the most valuable attacks on this thing to begin with, so it's pretty much a mandatory perk in my opinion. Then I pick up the perk Perpetual Strength down here into Seismic Chain and Shattering Impact. So these two perks are really useful. This one makes your Ground Slam have an area effect radius increase of 50%, and this one just gives you an extra Ground Slam if you hold the button down again. So like Ground Slam is just like your little mini combo after one light attack, or like a pommel smash. So pretty good, though I will say on a 2-speed weapon, this is kind of negatively impacted compared to a lot of your other things, and also your light combo is too. So it is kind of unfortunate, but we have to build down here to move over into Aftershock Improved and pick up our Dead End perk for pommel smash having 50% more damage, because primarily on the Bulwark class we will just be using extra pommel smash damage because he has a ton of perks around that anyways. That's why I build it this way. Now for the actual secondary weapon here, I do take a plasma pistol because the rate of fire variant for this weapon got buffed last patch. This thing charges super fast, amazing for getting your CHP back, also has AoE gun strikes, and overall I think this is probably like the best secondary weapon in the whole game currently. And the way I build it is just for ammo efficiency and shot charge speed, because this thing is not super ammo efficient even with auxiliary reloads. You kind of have to be a little careful about how you use it, but overall it's very powerful. Now alternatively, you could use a heavy bolt pistol. This is up to you if you want to take this instead. I just think this one is far better for CHP recovery and stagger, but that's really up to you. Now for the Bulwark perk tree selection, I do take Intimidating Aura first. A perfectly timed parry deals area effect damage within a 5-meter radius. Cooldown is 5 seconds. Now despite the tooltip here saying it only works on a perfect parry, it also works on a perfect block as of patch 8.0. So a really strong perk for all weapon types, and I actually prefer this on block because it really helps you deal damage to enemies that are kind of hard to catch at times with actual melee attacks. Things like lictors that have a very awkward combat string, and also just enemies like sword warriors that actually execute them, pick up some extra HP. Very strong on block weapons for that reason, but really this is a top tier perk for every single weapon, and so are all the other ones in this first tree, for being honest. Now next perk I take here is Scramble Targeting. If you're surrounded by 5 or more enemies, you take 25% less damage from range attacks. Now this perk is just free damage reduction for something that happens in this game all the time, which is you getting surrounded by 5 or more enemies, and 25% less damage from range attacks does affect your armor as well. So this is really good at preventing you from getting damage nuked, and armor in general already has damage caps in Space Marine 2, so it's just like a total value machine, and these other two perks don't really compare. Now the next perk here is Super S tier, Steel Within. When your health is less than 50%, you take 30% less health damage. Now a 30% health damage reduction on top of 25% damage reduction from range attacks from Scramble Targeting, and a 30% higher base HP is super chunky damage reduction. You're an absolute tank below 50% HP with this perk. Very strong, though I will say if you are using a fencing or balanced hammer, which you could definitely do with this build, I would probably just take Armor Reinforcement instead if you don't want to take this, because this perk is also super strong for armor restoration. Now next perk I take is the team perk Focus Restoration. Every 30 seconds all squad members automatically restore 1 armor segment. This perk is just incredible. This comes out to so much armor over the course of the game, and even if you're playing by yourself, this perk is good. If you're playing with like teammates and stuff, it is that much better. Like Tactical class gets a ton of armor out of this where he usually gets none. Super strong for keeping your teammates alive, and you don't have to do jack shit, so very strong perk for that reason. Now alternatively, you could take Advanced Conditioning. Contested health fades 50% more slowly for all squad members. This perk is also very strong. This one is just slightly better. Now next perk I take here is Purity of Purpose. The banner deals damage over time to enemies within its area of effect. This perk is one of the best perks for your banner, period. This will wipe out my Norse hordes. This turns a glorious shield banner, even an invigorating icon banner, into an absolute like shock grenade machine. Deals serious damage to even bosses. Super strong. S tier for sure, and these other two need a serious buff if they want to compete. Now next perk I take is for the Pommel Smash Concussive Force. Shield Bash, it deals 200% more damage. Thunder Hammer Pommel Smash, it deals 100% more damage and deals area effect damage within a 7-meter radius. Cooldown is 5 seconds. Now your Pommel Smash is just your lunging attack. With a Thunder Hammer we do like a sprint. Very easy to pull off. Very low recovery frames. Very easy to get out of even sniper shots with it, and this one makes it so you can just bop guys in the face. Pretty strong. Maybe not the strongest perk in this tree here, but definitely useful for a Thunder Hammer. We are building for damage primarily here. Now next perk I take is Merciless Resolve. After a Shield Bash or Thunder Hammer Pommel Smash, melee damage increases by 15%. You do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back for 10 seconds. Now you don't actually have to hit anything with your Thunder Hammer Pommel Smash to pull this off, so it happens all the time. It's pretty much just a free melee damage increase on top of no knockback, and no knockback can still save your life, because the recent patch they did to like stagger resist doesn't really feel like it did anything, so no knockback is still top tier for sure. Now for the signature perk, I also picked up the Armored Advance here. If you have armor remaining, you do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back. Now, with these two perks combined, you will pretty much never be knocked back again, so very, very strong combo. And if you don't want to even take this because you think this one's enough, you could just take Emergency Countermeasure for a shock grenade every 90 seconds when your armor breaks. This one's also very powerful. Now for my Bulwark Prestige perk selection, I do take Auxiliary Reload first. Melee kills of Extremis level or higher enemies restore your secondary weapon's ammo by 1 magazine. So for a heavy bolt pistol, it's just your 1 magazine, and for a plasma pistol, it's a percentage-based restore. Either way, this perk is really, really good. Obviously, it scales up with your difficulty, so Absolute and Siege mode especially get the most value out of this, but it's pretty good regardless, and ammo economy in this game is strong for any class, and let's be real, if you're prestiging your Bulwark, you're probably playing on Absolute for the most part, or lethal where there are more Extremis. And I will say, in patch 9.0, Extremis feel like they got buffed in like their spawn rates on the absolute difficulty, so even more valuable than ever. Now, next perk I take, since I am not taking Invigorating Icon, is Resilience. Medicae stims restore 40% more health. This one just makes your stims more valuable, and especially since you have like a higher base HP, you get even more value out of stims than most classes do. This just makes it that much better. And really, we have an extra perk slot anyways for prestige perks because we aren't taking Masterful Defense, since we are using a Thunder Hammer and have no shield. Now, the next perk I take is Overcharge. Charge attack damage increases by 20%. This is really good for your Thunder Hammer. It's like the only thing it actually affects here is your melee attacks, not like your secondary to Plasma Pistol whatsoever. Very strong damage increase, especially for things like the Power Fist as well, which is why I take it here. Now, final perk I take is Powerful Shot. Range damage increases by 20%. Pretty boring, but pretty damn useful because 20% increase to your range damage is just a super chunky number. Now, the perk Standard Bearer here, when Chapter Banner activates, you become invulnerable to damage for 2 seconds. Invulnerability in this game is super strong as a perk effect. Unfortunately, on the Bulwark class, you do not banner enough to get like the full value out of this like you would if you were a sniper with Emperor's Grace, so that's why I pretty much never take this. And Emboldened Stand just gives you no knockback for anyone in your banner area, but if somebody's standing in your banner area, they're probably not caring about getting hit all that much anyways because there's so much damn armor going around. Now, that is pretty much all I have to say about the prestige perks here. Now, the final thing I want to say about this build before I show some gameplay is that if you do want to use a different type of Thunder Hammer like the Balanced or Fencing, you definitely can. I think the Fencing is kind of excessive with 8 speed, but Balanced Thunder Hammer, 14 strength, 6 speed, and 12 cleaving potential is very strong right now, and you pretty much build it the same way regardless because overall, the Bulwark benefits from Pommel Smash for the most part anyways, so it doesn't really matter too much, but really it is up to you because these are all good options at the moment because melee weapons did get a buff, and they're pretty strong in Space Marine 2 currently. Hey guys, First Regardsman here, and I'll be talking about a maximum tank Power Sword Bulwark build for patch 9.0 Space Marine 2. Now, the Power Sword is one of the most interesting weapons in this game. It has like the most mechanics tied to it of any melee weapon period, and it's super fun and got buffs across the board. Now, really, for this build, you don't have to use a block Power Sword like me. You can really use whatever you want because it's not that important. But for the perk tree here, I would set up the same way regardless, which is going to Armored Strength. If you have armor remaining, melee damage increases by 10%. I don't usually like this perk, but on the Bulwark class, you have so much armor regen that's actually pretty amazing. You have stuff like Armor Reinforcement, Focus Restoration, and of course your banner, so pretty strong for him. Then we move over into a really, really good perk here, which is Master of Offense. After switching sword combat style, you deal 20% more melee damage for 5 seconds. Cooldown is 10 seconds. Now, a 20% melee damage buff for 5 seconds is pretty chunky, especially since they were able to actually fix the sword combat switch out of dodge to let you do a lunging attack again. So pretty strong perk here, even with a 10-second cooldown. Next perk is just like the Perpetual Strength perk here, Perpetual Strength for a 10% melee damage increase. Then I pick up the perk Tranquility. While in Power Roll stance, you do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back. Now, this perk is not super valuable on us because we do have perks like Merciless Resolve and Armored Advance, so we basically have no knockback all the time anyways, but it's still pretty good when like we actually don't have those for whatever reason. Next perk is Melee Onslaught. Weapon deals 10% more melee damage, pretty self-explanatory, just free melee damage. And the next perk here is Hard Target. While performing a light combo, you take 15% less range damage. This is just more damage reduction for a class that already has a ton. Super strong perk, and maybe not the best on the 1+ speed block version, but like Balance and Fencing, it's great. Now, for the next perk here, we have Cutting Edge. Power Rake deals 50% more melee damage. Power Rake is just your like heavy attack on this weapon after you do like a light attack or anything where you slap the floor in like a line. Very, very strong attack. It got buffed a while back, and this perk just makes it even stronger. And like honestly, lastly, Power Rake deals the most damage on this weapon, period, so super strong perk to pretty much always pick up. And then for the rest of these perks, I just take Extremis Slayer and the Majora's Slayer and Terminus Slayer for bonus damage. We really don't need to pick up the perk Minora's Slayer because Minoras are already like the easiest thing in the entire game to kill on a power sword anyways, so these ones are just far more beneficial. And I just pick up the perk here, Power Restoration, for more CHP recovery, but if you don't want this one, you can always just take the Speed Restoration. They're both pretty good depending on like what you're fighting. And that's pretty much all there is to the actual weapon perk tree here. Now for the secondary weapon choice here, once again we take the newly buffed Rate of Fire Plasma Pistol. This one is just incredible this patch. The DPS output is buffed thanks to the increased charge rate on top of better CHP recovery, better stagger, and of course AoE gun strikes. The only thing kind of holding this weapon back is the ammo economy, but like honestly it's still worth using over the other options just because it does so much damage and has great CHP recovery. And we are also the Bulwark class, so we do have access to the Prestige perk Auxiliary Reload. Melee kills of Extremis level or higher enemies restore your secondary weapons ammo by 1 magazine, so this is basically one of the only classes in the entire game that can actually get ammo back on their secondary pretty easily. Super strong perk for sure. It makes the plasma pistol actually fairly ammo efficient, and also we do have a range damage buff in our Prestige perk tree as well, so like overall it's just the best option. And for the perk tree, I do just build into ammo and shot charge speed here, perpetual velocity, and stuff like plasma collection and efficient charge, on top of picking up the Divine Might perk for bonus damage, because even though this thing is not like the best for killing zoanthropes, it's still pretty good. Now for my Bulwark perk tree selection, I do take Conviction first. This one reads, when your armor is fully depleted, you take a 25% health damage reduction for 10 seconds. Now a 10-second uptime is super long, and a 25% health damage reduction is amazing for any class that has access to this perk, but because we have a starting health increase of 30%, it is even more valuable on us than most classes. A super powerful option. Now alternatively, you could use the perk here, Intimidating Aura. A perfectly timed parry deals area of effect damage within a 5-meter radius. Cooldown is 5 seconds. Now this one's tooltip says it only works on perfect parry, but it also works on perfect block. They're both very strong options, but I'm going for full tank today, so I'm taking this one. Now next perk I take is Scramble Targeting. If you are surrounded by 5 or more enemies, you take 25% less damage from range attacks. 25% less damage from range attacks is super chunky. Getting surrounded by 5 enemies in this game happens all the time, and this one also affects your armor with its damage reduction, so super strong for that. And the next perk I take here is Steel Within. When your health is less than 50%, you take 30% less health damage. Now this perk is also incredible. 30% less health damage, just like flat out below 50% HP with a starting HP increase of 30%. It's just incredible. If we stack this with Conviction, we are just damn near unkillable at like 30% HP and below. You are so damn strong with this perk. It is just like a god tier perk for sure. Now alternatively, you could take Armor Reinforcement because this perk is also incredible, but like honestly I just prefer Steel Within. And the next perk I take here is the team perk Focus Restoration. Every 30 seconds all squad members automatically restore 1 armor segment. Armor is just free damage reduction. This one counts for your whole team versus every enemy in the game every 30 seconds. Comes out to like a stupid amount of armor restored over the course of like a 1 hour or 3 hour siege mode match. Very, very powerful perk. Now Advanced Conditioning is also very good for like an easier time getting CHP back. And the perk down here, Effective Formation, reads all squad members take 20% less health damage from Extremis and Terminus level enemies. Now like the enemy specific damage reductions in this game actually count for like, or they're, I should say, they are calculated a little bit differently than like flat out damage reductions, so they're actually more valuable than it might seem at first. And Extremis and Terminus level enemies are the ones that usually fuck you up the most, so this one's actually pretty good. If you stack this with like Steel Within, Conviction, and Glory Shield, you have a stupid amount of damage reduction. It's something like 100% plus, even though it's not actually calculated that way. It is multiplicative, but either way, very, very strong option as well. Now for the perk here, Purity of Purpose, the banner deals damage over time to enemies within its area of effect. This perk is just the best perk in this whole row by far. It basically turns your banner into a shock grenade, does significant damage to Minoras, Majoras, Extremis, and even bosses. God tier perk, pretty much always take this because these ones don't even come close. Now if you stack this with the perk Glory Shield, all squad members within the banner's area of effect take 20% less damage, and the banner lasts 20% longer. You get extra value out of it, and honestly I love Glory Shield, which is why I'll be taking it today over Invigorating Icon, although Invigorating Icon is obviously stronger because health increases, or I should say HP regen in Space Marine 2 is just super strong. And the next perk I take here is Merciless Resolve. After a Shield Bash or Thunderhammer Pommel Smash, melee damage increases by 15%. You do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back for 10 seconds. Now, to trigger this perk, all you have to do is just Shield Bash the air, which is super easy to do. You can also animation cancel your own Shield Bash, so it's basically like no downside to actually doing this. and a free melee increase of 15%. It's just super strong, and no knockback. It's just an extra bonus when our Armored Advance is down, because this is a signature perk I will be taking today. Armored Advance. If you have armor remaining, you do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back. Super strong perk. If you have no knockback active while blocking with your shield, you do not get staggered from things like sniper shots and someone throw balls, so no knockback is already god tier, and even better on the Bulwark class. So super strong options here, both of them. And for the prestige perk selection here, you actually have some options for once, because this perk tree set up pretty well. Kind of shocking, to be honest. But first up, we have auxiliary reload. Melee kills of extremis level or higher enemies restore secondary weapons ammo by 1 magazine. I actually don't like this perk a ton outside of true solo or siege mode, because in group play for operations, you really don't need to shoot your gun as much, and like usually you're using it as like a stagger machine or a CHP recovery machine, and the ammo boxes are pretty plentiful alongside ammo caches, and someone's usually shooting the neurothrope or zoanthrope, so you don't have to. So I wouldn't really take this in group play, but if you're by yourself or something and playing siege mode, I would take it. Now, next perk here is resilience. Medicae stims restore 40% more health. This perk is actually super good for like making your stims more valuable and just helping the total resource management of your team in general. I actually like this perk a lot. It just makes your stims super powerful. Next perk here is overcharge. Charge attack damage increases by 20%. Now, this actually affects the damage on your power fist charge attack, your thunder hammer charge attack, and your power rake on the power sword, even though you wouldn't expect it to. So I pretty much take it for like 3 out of the 4 weapons for this class. Super strong perk for just a free damage buff. And the next perk I take here is also a free damage buff. Range damage increases by 20% with powerful shot. I mean, it's pretty boring, but you know, damage is damage. And the next perk here is masterful defense. Ability charge restored by 1% for every blocked range attack. This perk is kind of god tier. CDR kind of breaks a lot of the abilities in this game, because the banner has a very long cooldown, but this can kind of circumvent that, especially versus chaos. So super strong option. I would pretty much always take this unless using the thunder hammer, because you have no shield. But honestly, the thunder hammer is the worst weapon on the entire class for this reason, because masterful defense is just the best. And that's pretty much all there is for the prestige perk tree here, because these 2 perks kind of suck. So that is pretty much all there is for this tank bulwark build setup. Really, building maximum tank bulwark is very strong in this game. Conviction plus steel within plus perks like glorious shield plus the perk down here, effective formation, comes out to like a 95% damage reduction to your HP. Super powerful, and even without the effective formation, the tankiness of your class is just kind of ridiculous. It is very, very hard to die, and your damage is by no means bad, and you have a huge team impact anyways. And if you were to stack like a power fist on this instead of a power sword, you'd just be stupid OP. So really strong options for sure. Hopefully this build guide helped, and as always, thanks for watching. Here's some gameplay of this, and take it easy. Bye. Alright. Well, we'll kill this guy in a second, but first... Alright, well, don't want to shoot.
Gallia knows nothing of the shadow. Secrets, but I do.
Oh, double prizes, dude. Like Toy Story 1.
Crush the ravenous brood, ye coward! No dragon shall compromise our objective. Before the
worried you had fallen victim to
Could be a
Mitrian's
melted bomb up
mastery
here
of
anyways, let's use
malphonic
that.
disruptive frequencies, but
Oh,
now
yes.
the uncomfortable sensation
Oh, you will all be
associated with
world.
cools my remaining skin. Be warned, Viridian. Mitrian cannot hope to stand against you alone, so she will lie and store in hope the Xenos swarm will devour you. Case in point, she has enslaved that servo skull as a crude mouthpiece. But give her word zero credibility for the mission's sake. And your own.
Mitrian has failed thus far, and she will continue to fail.
Leave it to the one Rage Devourer to eat my HP. Where all the other enemies couldn't. That's how it is in this game.
Follow me through.
The Residius system will be your turn.
You reckon Power Sword is good for high or hard waves of siege, or still the Power Fist? Definitely the Power Fist. Hey, the servers were back up for maintenance? Yes. Is you got kicked from siege? That's just a problem. It was an N2 error because they still haven't fixed that, unfortunately. It's very tragic.
Borrower incoming. It summoned legions of Xenos.
Statis, the facility is well stocked in mining gear. Requisition melter charges to eradicate the tunnels and halt the infestation.
Now, I do think Intimidating Aura is probably better for block weapons when you're not using the Power Fist in siege mode. Mainly because, or like a Thunder Hammer when you're too slow to actually hit the lictors back, but lictors especially are very problematic when you're fighting them with a block weapon and no Intimidating Aura. I like to hop around a lot.
Xenos writhe and burn in their own pathetic trench. Hitherto great.
When you die, I want you to re-record your howls and agony for future intimidation.
Their request for reinforcements is failed. That
Alright, where is
silence
my
is
melted bomb spot? Right here.
Resource, I have a melter charge. Clear a bar.
This melter charge stockpile is earmarked for excavation purposes.
Yeah, we don't much care about that. We should do this.
The melter charges. The passages are purified. Keep scanning for signs
Past the
of the
correct
triangle.
door, it was the radio, where your corpse was
Stay alert. Let's move quietly. That was no order. Steal your mark.
Alright, well, there's a big ammo cache over there, so let's worry about these guys. Not so many hordes, so many enemies, and a giant fat boss fight at the end, huh?
Your brothers think you are the weakest of
Moving camera to the sides quickly is useful for what? Seeing where enemies are? We need to check around you. After a while, we do is just have it.
Waste nothing, brothers.
Like, what do you do with your camera when you're playing? Like I get asked this question a lot. Like, why do you spin your camera around? It's because I was looking for guys.
The Imperium.
This game likes to drop random shit at you. It also happens in Dark Tide way more. I've played a lot. It also helps you aim your actual melee attacks. So let's say, in the case of the weapon I'm using right now, the power rake, it goes where your camera's aiming. So if I want to move my power rake over here, I gotta flip my camera. Things like that. That's what you're referring to.
Your righteous rig is a beacon. Inside the facility, you'll find Mitria.
I mean, what are you blocking?
Data enclave.
Gallia, old friend of
I
mine.
don't know what we're talking
If you
blocking.
missed our binaric discourses, you could have sent communication.
Is the headshot instigator any good? It's okay.
Not
bad.
Tissue. Remember,
Oh, I misunderstood your question, but
efficiency, whereas metallic alloys stave off corrosion and degradation for far longer.
How far you have fallen, that I must drag you back into the light.
thank you. I'm confused, Thomas. Are you talking about blocking?
Think too highly of me.
What's he saying? Who's your favorite Primarch? Who's your least favorite? Lorgar is the lamest. Sanguinius is the coolest.
By the Tyranids, and you do not care.
Rest in peace, Ferros Manus. Who's cool.
Shut down power to the uplink terminus. You must resupply the generator.
Honestly, like one of the only Primarchs that ever actually died, which is kind of funny. Him and Sanguinius.
But she underestimates the second company.
But Sanguinius died like a beast, so Ferros Manus kind of got punked.
I beseech you, Gallia, bear witness to the summation of our divine arithmetic from long ago.
Oh, you're about to get world. It's gonna be very whelming. Oh, that's the wrong way.
As my theorems predicted, your life vector has converged with renegade factors and Zeta 6. It was a waste of computational resources and one perfectly good Grox. Surrender now, and perhaps leniency can be granted. After the mind probes, of course.
Alright.
You are a redundant functionary. Your Astarte
Oh, I thought you can get a boss fight here.
shall die here, alone, in the dark.
Who has eyes on a power cell?
My conviction's very good.
Behold, the supremacy of hope.
Okay.
So, what's the... Perhaps we ought to deploy with a technical in the future.
What a pickle we've gotten ourselves into. I didn't even see the neurotrope up there, so getting caught underneath that giant AoE was like the worst possible thing to happen. It kind of ate my HP. On the flip side, oh, he's doing that. I can't even see where it's going. Oh, I can kind of see it. I can see enough.
Where's life plant this flag? Listen, who has eyes on a power cell?
Man, that AoE. Alright, before I get him low again. Not that I really can when he's like, well, you know, no enemies will spawn if I just do this.
Power cell identified. Take the power cells to the generators.
Like, surely he won't mind if I go and, like, do the objective. Especially if he's gonna play this game with me. Alright, now die.
Ready to deploy. Those foes appear you failed at hope. Skitter to the grave. Ammunition here. They fought that swarm on.
Alright, that is that. Jesus. Pain in the ass that was. Holy fuck. Also, sorry, I missed a Twitch alert there. 1 second. Lord Giggleton, thank you for the prime sub. Does perfect block damage to Xeno with a block weapon? I mean, no. If you have intimidating aura, it will. But not with this setup here. Even it.
This power cell has some charge. Take the power cells to the generators.
The last one down there, yeah, it is.
Our banner awaits unfurling.
Alright, 1 box.
Load up.
We still have the Gene Seed, guys, so I didn't even check back there for the Guardian Relic spot, but surely we won't need it.
Disrupt her attempts to connect with our facilities network. Metrium will seize any opportunity.
I mean, we're only at like
to
10%
damage
HP,
crucial data
20% HP,
this mission
15%. Should be at 5.
Let her connect to the consoles.
Disconnect the coward Texas from her cradle of wires.
I am copies of copies, backups of backups, and I degrade not. You have already fallen.
Dig in and defend. Stay alert. Behold the supremacy of Ultra. Incoming Stormer!
Try to get rid of this bio before he starts spitting more trash at me.
No Xenos monstrosity may escape. Commencing signal substance. Beast! It must not be allowed to fire! This console is offline.
Return to Metrian's containment unit.
Finally, we can get below this
See,
place.
Metrian. The more you thrash, the deeper you set our hooks.
Now, next box will
Where's
guarantee
like
be a
this
sim.
flag?
Now, unfortunately, we don't have the one perk.
Standard rules of Astartes flash ever come
Resilience.
My
That's okay.
machinations are already achieving my designs. You are fools, peasants.
All lectures this game.
Science, Metrian. Aurelian, confirm possession of her quivering mass of computational gray matter.
That silence attended to my city. This silly beast does not jump.
Oh my god, I just wanna go. I just wanna go. I'm gonna grab the brain. Pop all of these guys.
The asset does not see everything left to say.
Pilot, Meridian is ready for evacuation. Sending updated extraction coordinates to you now, Meridian.
I'm just leaving. I'm leaving. Probably triggering my merciless resolve more, but the way it is right now. Wait, block power sword? Of course, of course. Alright, finally a stim. Man, it's been so long. It's been so long.
Xenos Horde terminated. A victory for the Imperium.
Anything else here to pick up? Perhaps, perchance. Ooh, an ammo box just for me.
Here.
Alright. Alright. Onward.
Follow me through.
Finally.
Rarely do operations have a clean exit.
Use power mode for only my Norris and speed stop for everything else.
Chances colours.
Really depends. Usually I try to trigger master of offense if I can. Actually, it's pretty long uptime.
This galaxy is the door to the power. Our adversaries use their assault. Deny them any advantage. Enemy reserves incoming. Prepare to strike them down. Execute that one. Let them summon you. There will be more foes to overcome, and we will. That's enough. Steal your mind. You failed that order. Tyranny cannot destroy. Another seed of that silence the tyranny fire city. That one is only reserved for. Shield yourself! More are coming!
Alright, there's so many guys.
The ravenous brood beneath our
Just absolutely chopping through a goddamn entire high fleet I see.
ready to deploy. You failed that order.
Alright, we're almost at the finale now, finally.
This galaxy is the door to the power.
And a relic.
A
How
miracle.
convenient. After everything I went through there, I deserved it. That was something.
There is no going back, brothers. Resources acquired.
Let's go fuck this thing up.
Tyranny.
Let's get the full cutscene. Yeah, this thing comes out like a Borderlands boss. I feel like I had the title card waiting for it.
Abomination lurking about. Deep scans have penetrated the atmospheric disturbances. And
Oh, that's damage.
meddling code. Trigon vulnerability
The Trigon will
data
remember
pushed to
that.
your displays.
Darkness must strike. Focus on the gaps in the Trigon's exoskeleton.
Oh wow, I put that one. That's why this is really fast for this. Gotta get my armor back. On top of restoration. I can also just tank those hits.
Look for an attack from above.
That's lovely. Lovely, lovely. No, I could probably just take this in a minute to do this. Find another one. Pretty easy.
Locate melter charges and cauterize the high tunnels.
Pop, pop, pop. It's showtime.
Cleanse those
Wow, I thought I dodged you. Alright, that's tragic. Oh, it's all going to shit. This so often does.
Seamless aberration. Catch them all.
Alright, you can just blow up. Not like that. I make sure you improve damage.
Equipment covered.
I just bombed him. That's much ass, guys.
Readying those. Plant the melter charges on top of their moldering passageways. I hate these raging vermin, but killing them is gratifying. Purify the infected tunnels with the melter charges. Where do I plant this land? Cleanse those Xenos passages.
Thought it's a little faster. Of course, one goes on rage too. You just fuck off. Thank you. Look at this. Taking forever. Oh, not like this. Ammunition when it dies down. Evade. Oh, I actually missed that. It's embarrassing. Alright, let's forgot. Oh my god, that's my ammo. Is that some ammo? A little bit somewhere, maybe. I mean armor boost. I'll take that, I guess. I'll take that. Oh shit. Thank God our class doesn't mind sitting at like 2% HP the entire game. Oh, this is big damage time. Or, you know, big damage for this guy here. Alright. Melt the bomb. It takes for so a damn long period of time. Double Devourer on top of this shit is just cruel.
That's ready to deploy. You failed at Ultra. Purify their exit tunnels with the melter charges.
Positively mean. Look at this. The Horde in its own right. Why does it melt the bomb deal less damage than a power sword swing? Because this is the ultimate power sword. More powerful. This is a Dark Age of Technology power sword. That's why. Oh my god, dude, this thing takes forever. That's boss. Not very. They have no ammo left either. It's gonna slap with a light attack. I guess that works. Anyway, that's a dead Trigun boss. Bulwark can kind of just sit there and eat it. The grandfather loves you, first true guardsman. Does he though? Or does he just love to bless me with a Nurgle plague? Alright, see how many we got that run, because that felt very long and tedious and obnoxious. Alright, Indy, we should be good. Should be good now. 22 Extremis, 45,000 melee damage. I mean, all power swords can do that, but that one's pretty special in terms of just fat slapping. Anyways, all that is for that build, or all there is for that build, I should say.